Welcome to the weekly current affairs session. Today we will be dealing with the issues of social issues and ethics. The two topics that we will be dealing with are hate speech and menstrual leave. Okay, the issue of hate speech has been quite prominent in news from the last few days. So we will be dealing with it first. We will see the ethical issues that are involved, plus what is hate speech or what are the reasons that are there, okay, and how we should curb it. First of all, coming to the basic things about hate speech. See, hate speech is an important catalyst for mass violence. There is a consensus among the civil society that it can provoke emotions and erase logic and as well as reason, and thus target vulnerable communities. The vulnerable communities can be women, they can be based on religion, they can be based on caste, any group. Okay, again I will repeat it. Hate speech is a catalyst for mass violence. किसी भी समुदाय की तरफ हो सकता है, वो समुदाय वुमेन भी हो सकता है, वो एक रिलीजियस ग्रुप भी हो सकता है, वो एक ट्रांसजेंडर ग्रुप है जैसे वो भी हो सकता है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. ओके, ये फैलता कैसे है, हाउ हेट वायलेंस स्प्रेड्स. इट कैन बी थ्रू एनी फॉर्म ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन. इमेज हो सकती है कोई प्रोवोकेटिव, किसी को प्रोवोक करने के लिए कोई कार्टून इमेज हो सकती है, कोई मीम है, कोई ऑब्जेक्ट जेस्चर है, कोई सिंबल है, एनी फॉर्म कैन टेक. ओके, जरूरी नहीं है कि जो एक वर्बल स्पीच है वही ही हेट स्पीच का कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट है. जो और भी फॉर्म्स ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन है, जैसे कि कोई इमेज है, कोई प्रोवोकेटिव इमेज है, लाइक फॉर एनी रिलीजियस ग्रुप है, ठीक है, आप उसे डिस्क्रिमिनेट करने के लिए या उसे अप्रेस करने के लिए कोई उनके गॉड को इंसल्ट कर देते हैं, ओके, या कार्टून बना देते हैं, ओके, वो एक इमोशंस प्रोवोक कर सकता है, ठीक है. सो इट कैन बी इन एनी फॉर्म, इमेज, सिंबल, कार्टून, एनीथिंग. ओके, moving forward, what is hate speech? What is the basic definition of hate speech? See, hate speech, it is an incitement. It is an, just give me a second. See, what is hate speech? Hate speech, it is an incitement to hatred against a particular group of person marginalized by their religious belief, sexual orientation, gender and so on. This is a standard definition of hate speech which you can also use in your answers. Okay, what is hate speech? It is an incitement to hatred against a particular group of persons marginalized by their religious beliefs. For example, it can be a religious minority. Sexual orientation, for example, transgenders are there, lesbian, gay community is there, gender, woman is there, and so on. For example, you can also include lower castes in it. Okay, what does the Law Commission has to say about it? Law Commission in its 267th report, it has stated that hate speech has utterances which have the potential to provoke individuals and society at large to commit acts of terrorism, genocide and ethnic cleansing. This is what Law Commission has to say about it. Okay, any act, verbal or otherwise. Okay, we have already learned that basically except verbal, the other forms such as symbol, memes, gestures which have the potential to provoke individuals and society at large to commit acts of terrorism, ethnic cleansing, genocide, it can be concluded as hate speech. I hope you must be clear with it. Okay, moving forward. So, what are the ethical issues that are involved in the hate speech? Okay, what are the ethical issues involved? So, foremost is, it is an issue of freedom of speech and expression versus the hate speech. Should we grant absolute freedom of speech and expression to any individual? It means to say anything, okay, without any restriction, or should there be a containment or reasonable restrictions should be placed on it so that if anybody or any individual say something that hurts the feelings or sentiments of another group, okay, or another individual, should we constrain them? So it becomes a ethical issue here, that should we go for an absolute freedom of speech and expression, or should there be reasonable restrictions that should be imposed on? That is our first ethical issue. Second one is that it violates the right to life with dignity of others. Obviously, if you are marginalizing any individual, we have learned the definition of hate speech. For example, the acts of terrorism, acts of ethnic cleansing, genocide, it violates the right to life with dignity of others, and in India specifically it will violate the article 21 of the constitution. Okay, another one, violation of one's duty. This has also been an ongoing debate in India with respect to the rights and duties, that if individuals enjoy some rights, okay, and they are defined as fundamental also, there are also some duties which an individual or individual as a citizen of the society should adhere to. That is why we also have fundamental duties in part 4A of the constitution. Okay, so it also constitutes the violation of one's duty towards the communal harmony, towards the peaceful society, okay, towards universal brotherhood, to live with fraternity. Okay, so this is a violation of duties. Next one, threaten constitutional fraternity, loss of social capital and unity in diversity. These are also the very basic features of our Indian society, because you know that Indian society is diverse. Many societies with diverse religious backgrounds, with diverse castes, okay, live in Indian society, and our motto has always been unity in diversity. So if there will be discrimination and disturbance to communal harmony in society, obviously it will lead to loss of social capital. The unity that we witness in society, that will not be there, okay, and obviously to the constitutional fraternity as well. It is all fraternity is mentioned in our constitution. Okay. Next one, discrimination and prejudice. When you provoke the emotions or when you utter hatred towards another groups or other individuals, obviously it will lead to discrimination, it will lead to their marginalization in society. Okay, they will be stereotyped against. For example, they will find it hard to what we say, to enjoy the right to movement, to enjoy the right to reside, okay, to enjoy the right to participation in social activities. Okay, when they will be seen with contempt and hatred, the particular groups which are discriminated against, obviously it will lead to violation of their rights as well, and it will also lead to the again loss of social capital in society. Okay, next, threat to peace, issue of internal security. Obviously, when the two groups are not having communal harmony, there is a issue of hate speech or hatred among them. One or another day it will lead to violence in society, and we will, as a society, we will divert from the path of development, and it will lead to the issue of internal security. Okay, when we divert from the path of development, we will have to divert our resources towards other issues such as violence in our society, law and order problem, okay, political unity, okay, providing proper environment and ecosystem. And this diversion or the basically of resources towards the maintenance of internal security will ultimately hamper our economic growth as well, because we will no longer be seen as a favorable economic destination by the outside world as well. Okay, both the issues that as a society we will have to face, issue of internal security because of violence that will be there between the communities in the society. Next is threat to secular credentials of society. We all know that secularism is a basic feature of our Indian constitution. Okay, and I have already stated that unity in diversity has been always our motto. Okay, we have always been able to coexist no matter how much diverse groups are there. So because of hatred or hate speech or discrimination or prejudice that is prevailing in our society, it will basically hamper the secular credentials of our society, or it will hamper the progress of secularism in our society. And obviously last one, unfair censorship. Recall the first point that we have basically learned, that there is an issue of absolute freedom of speech and expression and reasonable restrictions. When we go for reasonable restrictions, there will be a censorship. Okay, when we try to contain the hatred comments or hatred emotions uttered by some individuals towards the other groups, okay, the means or tools that will be used to employ for that are censorship. And sometimes unfair use of censorship or unfair means for political witch hunting or to protect the government side, okay, it may again hamper the freedom of speech and expression of individuals in society. I will again repeat the points that the ethical issues that are involved in is here. First one is freedom of speech and expression versus hate speech, absolute freedom versus the reasonable restrictions that should be imposed, right to live life with dignity. Because of violence, because of discrimination, because of genocide, because of ethnic cleansing, we are violating Article 21 of the Constitution. Next one, violation of one's duty, because if we enjoy some rights in society, then it is also our duty to respect some fundamental duties that we owe as a citizen to society. So it will be the violation of one's duty. Next, threat to constitutional fraternity, loss of social capital because of hatred, because of enmity between the groups, the tolerance will not be there, social unity will not be there. Next one, discrimination and prejudice. Okay, because hate mongering or rumors that are spread against the particular communities, that will lead to discrimination, okay, and the stereotypes will prevail against them in society. Issue of internal security, because of the violence that will be there, it may lead to formation of some extremist groups in society. For that, government will have to divert its resources from development to maintenance of security, internal security. And next one is threat to secular credentials, threat to the secularism of our society, threat to tolerance, threat to coexistence that is there. And last one is unfair censorship. Okay, moving forward, so what are the reasons for this hate speech? First one is stubbornness to particular ideology. What is stubbornness to particular ideology? It happens when basically you close your mind and you refuse to listen to others' feelings, others' thoughts, other ideology. You say that basically only mine and what ideology or whatever thought I am adhering to, that is only the thing that is true. Okay, whatever else is there, basically it is not true. Whatever I am saying is true. Stubbornness or to sticking to a particular ideology, refusing to allow grow other thoughts, basically that is the reason for hate speech. Feeling of superiority, when you feel that, when individuals or when groups feel that basically when they say that basically the race or religion or caste or any another group that we belong to is superior in all forms from another groups, it leads to hate speech. Okay, when we say that no, for example, if we take the example of race, only Aryan race is a pure blood, or when only upper castes are basically pure, or basically particular religious community A that is basically having a more claim to the resources of the society, that leads to the feeling of superiority, and it ultimately leads to hate speech, and then the consequence is violence in society. Next one, create panic through rumor mongering. Okay, what is rumor mongering? Rumor mongering is basically when you spread false information. Okay, that is a reason. Try to create panic in society against particular groups. Okay, trying to accuse them of something that they may or may not have done. Okay, which leads to hatred and result is mob justice, vigilante groups in society. That is the reason. Another one, provoking emotions to erase reason and logic so as to create violence. See, the perfect example for this is the Nazi Germany. What Hitler used to do, okay, he used to provoke the emotions of the groups so that basically the line between logical and what is illogical is blurred. People are not able to see that line. Okay, provoking emotions, okay, erasing reason and logics. People basically, when we, even in your personal life or your daily day-to-day activities, there are many instances we see that basically when we make decisions based on emotions and ultimately we find ourselves in trouble, then we say that basically we did not see the reason and logic behind that thing. Okay, provoking emotions. Next one is misinformation and disinformation. This is another group, another basically reason that is there. There are many examples for this also. For example, with respect to cow smuggling also, okay, the many news that we have read in on social media as well as in the newspapers also, that basically individuals were falsely accused of carrying beef. That was there. Okay, or individuals were the news are falsely planted against some particular communities that they have done something. Okay, and based on that misinformation, basically there is violence in society, and ultimately when fact checking is done or when the government presents the fact, it states that basically that nothing was true. Okay, so these are the reasons that lead to hate speech. Again, I will repeat it: stubbornness to particular ideology, feeling of superiority, creating panic through rumor mongering, provoking emotions, and last one is misinformation and disinformation. Okay, these are the reasons that basically that lead to hate speech. Moving forward, what are the legal provisions that are there? Section 153 and 153B of the IPC, which states that provoking enmity between different communities. Section 295 deals specifically with enmity between the provoking enmity between different religious communities, and section 8 of the RPA Act, which states that if individual has a crime against him or herself due to hate speech, he or she shall be disqualified. Okay, these are the major provisions that deal with the hate speech: section 153, 153B, section 295A and section 8 of the RPA Act. Okay, moving forward, so what are the measures that we should take to curb hate speech? First of all is that the major onus lie on social media companies such as Facebook is there or Google is there or Twitter is there. Okay, that they should develop some algorithms so as to filter out the fake news or to filter out some media news or some any another video or audio clip if is there that is provoking violence in society. Okay, you must have seen that on Twitter also they have now started putting tags behind the videos if they find it that it is fake, that it is manipulated media. Okay, so more the major onus lies on these companies that they should develop such algorithms and come up with such criteria that filter out fake news is there or some provoking video or audio clips are there. Second one is that Election Commission of India must tie up with tech companies to identify the creator of such news. Why so? So that basically we can ensure the rule of law in society. If individual has something done wrong or he or she has provoked violence in society, he or she should be held liable and accordingly punishment should be given to him or her. Okay, so that it creates that the feeling that law is working in society. Okay, that law is doing its work. Okay, that will be the focus here. Then another one is educating the end users. What does that mean, that educating the end users? It means that basically individuals should be made aware that they should do some fact checking if they find such provoking videos. Okay, developing their cognitive ability to imply, so that they can imply reason and logic while watching such things. Okay, so that they are able to differentiate between what is right and what is wrong. That means educating the end users. Next one, government should bring out a policy framework on the possible harm due to the internet messaging platforms to engage at a deeper level. There should be a specific clear cut policies with specific, what we say, provisions, penalties against such offences. What will be the punishment, how companies will be liable, what is the role of police, okay, what is the role of certain that is there. All these things should be identifiable within a policy framework, so that there is a clear cut message that government is doing something. Okay. Next one is imposing hefty fines, such as in Germany the social media companies face fines of up to 50 million euros if they persistently fail to remove illegal content from their sites. Okay. For example, if something is there on Facebook or Twitter or any other social media platform, government is saying that this is manipulated media, it is provoking violence in our society, so they should be held liable if they are not doing something to correct it. Obviously, because they deal with public, so they should be held accountable. Okay, these things can also be made clear within the policy framework that the government can define. Okay. So this is all that is there with respect to the hate speech. Now if any question comes on hate speech, you have to write a conclusion, or there can be a essay topic also on hate speech. These are the things that you should mention within your answers while you are writing the way forward or the conclusion. TK Vishwanath committee was there, TK Vishwanath committee was there on hate speech. Next, Bez Barua committee was there on hate speech. Okay, they should find mention within your answers. Okay, whenever you are writing a conclusion or whenever you are writing a way forward, you should always write that the recommendations by the TK Vishwanath committee or the Bez Barua committee should be implemented, so that a comprehensive and clear cut defined solutions can be made. Should we promote right of silence also? No, right of silence, that doesn't means anything. Okay, right of silence. IT Act, yes, IT Act can be strengthened. Okay, and most recently there is a Supreme Court judgment in Amish Devgan case where it has specifically categorized that it is a violation of unity and fraternity and breach of human dignity, which constitutes the facet of the right to life and liberty under the Article 21 of the Constitution. Supreme Court has also recently stated that hate speech leads to violation of unity and fraternity, and as well as it is a violation of Article 21 of the Constitution. These things should find mention within your answers. Okay, so that examiner can feel that you have a depth knowledge about the topic, and it will help you gain more marks. So this was all that was there with respect to the hate speech. I hope what is hate speech, how it is propagated, what are the reasons behind it, the measures that should be taken, what are the ethical issues that are involved, and what should be within your way forward or conclusion. I think we have dealt holistically with the topic and you will be clear. Yes, DPSPs can be amended. Okay, but it will again, they are more provide for the what is the duty of government. Okay, fundamental duties provide for the duty of citizens, such as. Okay, so moving forward to our next topic, that is a menstruation leave. Okay, this topic was also in news, and a civil society organization approached the Delhi High Court, okay, for regarding asking the court that it should define some guidelines or it should pronounce some guidelines with respect to the menstruation leave. These both the topics that we are dealing with, so as just to be clear, they come in both society and as well as in ethics. Okay, they can be asked that anywhere. That is why we will be dealing with the ethical issues involved, as we have done in the hate speech, and we will be doing here also. Okay. Sir, is there any definition for hate speech mentioned? No, as such, no definition is mentioned for hate speech in the constitution. Okay, that definition that we have read, or the law commission definition that was there, you can go for that within your answers. So mensuration, first of all, that we should be all clear with is that it is a perfectly a natural biological process. It is not a disease or a disability. Okay. Why menstruation leave basically is an issue, or why the civil society organizations are asking for menstruation leave? The major issue is that they experience lack of private place at workplace to change the menstrual materials. There are no specific resting areas. Further, the fear of staining and smelling, lack of hygiene in toilets. These are the major issues due to which menstruation leave is in news, because it deals specifically with the women as an issue. Okay, so it also talks about what should be the quality of work environment. Women, they are not provided with the specific private place. Okay, there are no proper resting areas. There is a lack of, you will besides school, in schools also we see that there are no separate toilets for men and women, and this is also prevalent in some workplace, specifically in the unorganized sector, that there is a lack of hygiene in toilets, or separate toilets are not there for women. That is why there is a demand for menstruation leave. So what is happening is that not providing the separate toilets or the measures that should be there to maintain the hygiene, it deprives the rights of employee to live with human dignity, and essentially thus violates the Article 21 of the Constitution. Okay. If you are not able to properly contribute to the economic or social activities because there are some prohibitions or not proper measures are made specifically to protect your health, so it is also the failure of the government and as well as the society. How as a government? Because it is not making proper provisions for the maintenance of infrastructure. And how as a society? Because we are not able to progress socially. Okay, we are not able, we are just confined within the closed minds. We are not able to recognize the problem that women as specifically that they are facing within the society, and that also when they constitute 50% of our population. So it essentially violates the Article 21 of the Constitution. So first of all, we will be dealing with is that arguments in favor as well as against the menstruation leave. Then we will come to the measures or way forward, and at last I will also discuss the ethical issues that are involved here. So first of all, coming to the arguments in favor of menstrual leave. See, Article 21, you all have done polity. It empowers the state to make special provisions for women and children. If this provision is there, obviously it is for the benefit of for women. Okay, so that they do not face any difficulties, or if they are facing some special problems, government can take steps to fully empower them. So Article 15(3) in itself provides that state should make special provisions for the women and children. So menstrual leave as a specific policy decision can be made first. Second thing, Article 42 of the Constitution, again DPSPs, what they state that they should make special provisions for securing just and humane conditions for work and as well as maternity leave. DPSPs also put an obligation on the government to make provisions for safe work and maternity conditions. Again, it is an obligation of the government, so government must fulfill it. Third one, it is pertinent to note that basically maternity is a choice. Being pregnant or to bear a child, it is a choice of the woman. But menstruation It is an inescapable monthly biological process over which, because of women, because of her sex, that she has no choice. Okay, maternity is a choice, but menstruation is not a choice. Okay, so the conditions that she has to deal with, they should must be made, or benefits for that particularly for women should be made within the policy decisions. Last one, developed countries such as or developing countries like Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, they provide menstrual leave to their female employees every month. So India should also follow a path, because we are a democracy, we are a respected democracy. Our Article 21 states that we respect and we provide for right to life with dignity. So we are also the part of UN declarations on human rights, okay, for the welfare of women. So we should also be taking the steps. Again, in nutshell, I will repeat the provisions. Article 15(3) of the Constitution, fundamental right, it provides for specific provisions for women and children if they are facing any difficulty. Okay, government should make provisions to empower them. So menstrual leave can be added here. Article 42 specifically and directly puts an obligation on the government for securing humane conditions for work and security. Third one, menstruation is not a choice. You can say that maternity is a choice, okay, to bear a child, but menstruation, it happens every month, and because of that women have to go through pain, nausea, okay. For that they should be provided with some specific conditions. And last one, because the countries or the democracies around the world, they are making the provisions for the menstrual leave to their employees, India should also follow this path. Okay, these are the arguments that are in favor. Now we will talk about arguments that are against. First of all, menstrual leave policies might discriminate against men. There has been a talk among experts that periods or menstruation is difficult or pain bearing for only some women. It is not applied to all of the women section. Okay, but again, how to differentiate? Okay, you cannot differentiate. There is also counter to this, that you cannot differentiate basically which woman is having pain or which is don't. So this is an argument to make that basically these policies might discriminate against men, but again the benefit outlaws this discrimination thing. Okay, next one, many women are capable of functioning at full capacity even during their periods. So again, there is always a counter to this. Like I just said, basically how to differentiate. We are just making this point on the pretext that basically many women are working in their menstruation periods. But how to differentiate that, how many of them are working at full capacity and how many of them are not. So this is another counterpoint to this. Third one, menstruation, in this regard, menstrual leave policies are prone to misuse. Again, I have in brackets, I have specifically highlighted that numbers are not significant to avoid a policy decision. Last one, it would prejudice employers against hiring women and lead to their alienation at work. This is a genuine point that is there, that because of leave policies, employers might think that women might not be able to contribute fully to their work efficiency. Okay, they might hamper the efficiency of the organization. So we should not hire them, because we have to make them leave or we have to provide them with leave every month, or we have to provide with some specific infrastructure that will put cost on the organization. That is a point that should be considered. Okay, these 3 points, we can say that these are just on the pretext that we have to write that yes, these are the arguments against menstrual leave, but this one is the most genuine point, that women will not be hired by the employers on the pretext that they might not contribute effectively to the organization. And last one is basically sick leave can be used during menstruation. It has also been it has been the point of the companies and as well as some experts that companies are already providing for sick leave within the organization. If any female employee is having some pain or they are facing any discomfort, basically they can avail the sick leave. Why? To provide the separate menstrual leave for women. These are the points. Again, I will repeat in nutshell. First one is that menstrual leave policies might discriminate against men because these leaves will not be provided to men. Obviously, it is understood from the line itself. And there has been also an argument that menstruation is not effectively painful for all of the women. Second one, again, it has been argued that women are, or most of the women are capable of functioning at full capacity even during periods. Okay, so it might be misused by some women or female employees that yes, we are going through our period, so we can't work. Okay, then most effective point in this, that it would prejudice employers against hiring women and lead to alienation at work, that employers will not hire them because they won't be able to contribute effectively to the organization. And sick leave can be used during menstruation, that if you are feeling sick or if you are having some health discomfort, you can always avail sick leave within the organizations. Yes, Vishal, it is true that sick leave is only available in the formal sectors. There are no such provisions that are applied to the informal sector or the unorganized sector. Okay, moving forward, what should be the way forward or what should be the measures that we should take in this regard? First of all, social awareness about such social issues. How innovative measures can be taken? For example, there was a movie named Padman, you must have seen it. It tried to spread social awareness regarding some specific social conditions that are faced by women. Another innovative approaches can be taken, such as street plays, okay, hiring such celebrities, giving some innovative advertisements in the newspaper, performing some short skits in villages, that can be taken up. Next thing, efforts directed at awareness and education about menstruation and specifically hygiene and access to safe products and responsive wash infrastructure. Specifically in rural areas, in urban areas, we still have some basic infrastructure, while that is completely missing in rural areas, specifically hinterland areas. What is wash infrastructure? Water, sanitation and hygiene infrastructure. Okay, government can go for this along with social and social awareness about these type of social conditions. Government can go for wash infrastructure. Again, what is wash? Water, sanitation and hygiene infrastructure. It will provide some comfort level. Okay, last one, addressing it as a social issue. First of all, we need to recognize that yes, it is a social issue. Okay, menstruation is a social issue. If we are not recognizing it as a social issue, that yes, this is a issue that we are facing in society, how we will be able to solve it? For that, we require interventions at societal as well as community as well as at familial level, at 3 levels. And for again, innovative approaches can be taken for this purpose. For example, at societal level, you can hire female celebrities, okay, who can create awareness. You can hire NGOs. At community levels also, you can perform some plays, or movies can also do their part. At familial level, okay, specific NGOs, because they have their door-to-door delivery approach, they can move on to the homes and provide awareness about the issues that are faced by the women section of society. Okay, these are the innovative approaches that can be taken to solve this issue. Now, what are the ethical issues that are involved here? First of all, right of a woman to be treated with dignity and respect. Obviously, Article 21 of the Constitution. Okay, we have already seen that, we have already discussed that not providing them with proper benefits and empowered policies basically leads to violation of their Article 21, that is to right to life with human dignity. First ethical issue. Second one, ethical blindness. What is ethical blindness? It is basically lack of compassion and empathy. When we basically don't see what others are going through, that is ethical blindness. Failure to see recognition of the emotional, physical, hormonal and psychological trauma basically faced by women. That is ethical blindness in context of women. In general, ethical blindness means basically lack of compassion and empathy to see what others are going through. That is an issue here. And last one is lack of social influence to maintain gender parity. Why this issue is being neglected? Because there is lack of social influence. It is not much spoken about. Awareness is not there. Specific policies are not there. That is lack of social influence to maintain gender parity, to maintain gender equality. Okay, we need to do everything so that basically it leads to empowerment of the vulnerable section of our society, particularly women. I hope I am clear with the ethical issues that are faced by women, okay, with respect to the menstruation leave. Everybody is clear with this topic? Menstruation, arguments that are in favor, arguments that are against, and ethical issues that are faced here. You can reply to me in the chat box. Is everybody clear with it? Okay, so we will all provide you with the daily answer writing question. The question here is, the trends related to female employment in India indicate that women empowerment is just a topic of conversation and far away from implementation. What are the reasons for low participation of women in workforce? Discuss solutions to improve this percentage. It is a 250 words question. You can reply at rajisacademy.com. Okay, it is asked in the context because global gender parity index and global gender gap index, okay, their rankings are out again. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you and all the best for your future endeavors.